Hello, 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 and good afternoon. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year, and welcome to the first episode of Inspiration to Achieve for 2021. Yay! I'm so glad, actually, that I'm able to make it, that I'm able to be here. And I'm starting strong. I'm starting the way I want to continue. So I want to do a quick check of um, of my technology just to make sure that it's all good and you can see me clearly before I resume. Yes, I'm live on LinkedIn. So I'm coming to you live from LinkedIn, my personal Facebook page, and in my group, the Visionary Introverted Woman Community. So if you've never met me before, my name is Patience Ogunbona. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to start by wishing you a happy new year and wishing you happiness, healing and wholeness, because we really need that this year, don't we? We do. And hope, as well as success for the year. So one of the ways I handle life, and I want to share that with you, is usually to surround myself with some positivity to help me. So I know that the times are difficult. I know that life is tough at the moment. And I know that the announcement of the lockdown in the UK for us really sent some people down. It was really tough. So one of the ways I handle it is things like this, which is, I put things in my kitchen, which is the serendipity prayer, which says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So I put this on the window ledge in my kitchen, and it's there for me to kind of look when I'm washing the dishes, washing my hands. It's just a way. Hi, Mubina, Rema, and thanks for joining me on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So I use this on my kitchen ledge to make all the difference in the world, to just help me to see positive thoughts. Here's something else that I use. And this is also in my kitchen. I spend a lot of time in my kitchen. And maybe one of these days I'll do a video. So some days you just have to create your own sunshine. Yeah. And so that's another thing that I hang on the wall in my kitchen when I'm passing by to get to the dining room. I see it and it makes all the difference. When you think about 2021 and how it started, you kind of think about it. I tend to think about it like Monopoly. So, and before I talk about that, I want to tell you, why are you here? So we've been going on. Philomena, thanks for joining me on LinkedIn. Happy New Year to you and blessings to everybody who's joined. So basically, we've been doing a series called Leading Your Life in 5 stages. And I want to apologize because at the end of 2020, I started the first one, which is survival. And the first stage 1, which is survival. And I promised that I'll do stage 2 and 3 at the end of the year. But towards the end of the year, I could feel some energy drain. I could feel some difference in my body. And I could feel that I needed to shut down. So I decided and gave myself a break and took 2 weeks off. And decided that I wanted to flow into the new year with positivity and energy. And life happened. Life happened as well. Christmas was tough, but it was good. So I'm back now, and I'm going to do stage 2 and 3, which is choices and performance. And this is what I want to talk about and use examples. And I want to start with talking about, the game of Monopoly, for example. Hi, Tom. Thanks for joining me. And yes, Mubina, by all means, you need to have things around you that are creating positive vibes. So what is it about Monopoly? So I'm not a great Monopoly player, but my whole family plays it and they love it. And it's like you roll the dice and it determines your destiny. You roll the dice and you have to make a decision about investing. You have to make a decision about where you place your money, how you spend what is in your hand. It feels like life to me when you play Monopoly. At the end of the day, The winner is the person that made the right decisions, the right choices, and ended up with lots of money, lots of investments, and was able to play the game well. But also, when you're playing the game, like we have now in lockdown, if it almost feels like from 2020 you enter into 2021 and it's like, okay, you were in jail, let's just put it that way, and you play and you get the get out of jail free card, which is 2021. Yay, we're in it now. And then suddenly you find that you use your get out of jail free card to jump from 2020 into 2021. Unfortunately, you get back into jail again. And then you're thinking, oh God, I need to find a get out of jail free card again. And that's how it feels with the announcement of the lockdown in the UK for most of us. Most of us feel like we've jumped into the into jail again, and you have to roll the dice to get a get out of jail free card. So that is what I really want to talk about today. How do you get out of jail free card, or how do you make a decision to go for rolling the dice that is in your hand? Because sometimes it feels like the government is rolling the dice, people are rolling the dice, and the truth about it is we are never 100% really in control, to be honest, in life generally. We can't control the weather. We can't control, who's on the road with us. We can't control who our family is. We can't control who is going to work with us. In some instances, if you're in your own business, you determine who comes along to work with you. So that's really what I want to talk about today, is how do you make great choices, and how do these choices then lead to performance that is able to empower and facilitate success and facilitate you creating the life that you want. And obviously, then I'll end up telling you about how you can achieve that with the help of mentoring, with the help of coaching, with the help of training, whatever it is, and leave you with some positivity. How's that for an agenda for today, as you spend the time with me as I bring you the episode of Inspiration to Achieve today? So I know that some of you might be meeting me for the first time. Hi, Kate. Thank you. It is a great congratulations to be doing my first live in the first week. Yes, thank you very much, Kate. So I will start by introducing myself. As I said before, my name is Patience Ogunbona, for those that don't know me. And I'm also known as the visionary introverted woman. And my passion really is being totally in the corner of all introverted women who are seeking to use their gifts and talents to thrive in life, and by increasing their impact, influence, and income. I help you, if you are introverted, to develop self-belief, tenacity, high performance, leadership skills that will help you to accomplish your life and business goals. This is what I do. Hi, Janice, and good morning. So basically, I'm all about helping the introverted woman, whether be it you're a professional, be it you are a business. I also work with SMEs and corporations to be able to help them to develop and devise and deliver strategies and training to achieve synergy in what I call the 3 Ps, which is their people and their performance and their profitability. So I love to collaborate, whether it's with individuals or with organizations and businesses. So if you have a need, get in touch with me and I'll be able to help you, and we'll see what we can do. My specialism lies in the area of business coaching, leadership training, diversity and inclusion, emotional intelligence, and I also have training in DISC personality profiling, which I use across all my activities. So that's enough about me. But adding to that, I want to tell you about some of the things that influence choices for me. So for me, personality-wise, I would say I'm a high I on the DISC scale. This can influence some of the choices I make and the way I make choices, the way I make decisions. Ultimately, making choices is about decision making. So on the other hand, I said I'm a visionary introverted woman. That means I'm visionary. Yes, I have great ideas. I'm very good at strategizing. I'm good at looking forward. So sometimes I would cope better in a situation here where I'm looking forward to the future and I'm managing it. And so I find strategies to keep helping me move forward. So as an introverted woman, there are 4 types of introversion, which is you have the anxious and restrained, and you have the thinking, and you have the social. So I have moved across these different spectrums in my life, and I did that by choice. Didn't realize it until I'm here now, and I'm looking back to see what do I bring to the table? What makes me different? How can I offer a voice, to help others? Whether be it you are introverted or you want to understand introverts from being an extrovert, because nothing is in isolation, or you're a bit of both. So in my early years, young, let's say teens to my 20s, I would say I was more of an anxious and restrained introvert. So it was always a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and a lot of holding myself back, even though it seemed that I was successful and I was doing a lot. Eunice, thanks for joining me. But I wasn't really expressing my full potential. Then in my 20s and 30s, I added thinking to it. This thinking introvert, I became more aware of my thinking capabilities, my deep thinking capabilities. One of the things that people used to look at me and say I'm weird. And I became more aware of the fact that I could use it in my life to actually make a difference to my life to start with. I made the decision not to look at it the way people saw me as a weirdo, because everything was deep and had to be really, meaningful and things. So I decided to use it. And that thinking in my 20s and 30s allowed me to begin to chase personal development, begin to chase growth, begin to chase the need to express my potential in full. Also begin to believe that I needed to be audacious about who I am, and come from a place of accepting myself to present myself unapologetically and authentically to the world. By the time I got to 40, in my 40s now, I would class myself as a social introvert. That means, in some instances, being an ambivert, what you call 50-50 sometimes, giving myself permission to adapt, to be flexible, to get along with life as much as possible. So what am I using myself as examples? Because that is where my frame of reference comes from, to kind of explain to you how choices impact our life, how choices help you to lead your life in the direction you want it to go. If you have, like I said, in the survival mode, if you are staying in survival, which is stage 1, you're surviving, you're not thriving. And so you need to continue to move up the ladder into the next phase. And the way you do that is by making choices, by making the right choices. So in making choices, we have to remember that making choices have consequences. And some of the reasons why people shy away from the topic is because it has consequences. I heard this phrase that says, life is hard, choose your hard. So it feels like you don't have a lot of options. Life is hard, period. And that's a fact of life. Life is hard, whether or not you were born today, this minute. Some people are being born, or you are at the end of life going. Life is hard. What you need to do is to choose your hard. I like that, because it helps you think about the fact that you got to make your bed, so you got to make a choice. You got to do something. So I see choosing in 3 different ways. So the first one is do absolutely nothing. And that is a choice in itself. When you do nothing, you've made a choice. You don't want to intervene. You don't want to do anything about stuff. And the truth about it is, sometimes that is a strong position to be or to take, to do nothing. As a person of faith, I've said it a lot in all my presentations, I'm a person of faith. There is a verse in the scriptures that says, Haven't done all, you stand. So at that point, it's interfering with your faith if you decide to not stand and just let things be, let things happen. I'm also regarded as very intuitive. So I tend to say that in my life, not everything that I need to accomplish will be done by me directly. I'll get divine intervention. So I leave room for the divine and do nothing in some instances. But that in itself is a decision that comes from me grooming myself in faith. So it's a choice that comes from a choice, if so to speak. So do nothing would have a lot of layers. So what's the next layer if if you decide to do something? You can do something. You can do anything. So I've heard in some films, if you're like me and you watch films, say, do something, anything, just do something. But that means it's just can be irrational, just do it, just just jump. You don't think, you don't have a process, you don't have a strategy, and you just go for it. So that's the next way of making choices. You just choose to do something. Now we as coaches tell people, take the leap and take the leap, but we say take the leap of faith. So there is an element of working on your faith, working on your mindset. I like that options analysis. Exactly. So working on your mindset to be able to then take the leap. Because guess what? Somebody says take the leap and you're at the edge of a cliff. You're not going to jump. You say, I need a parachute. Then I'm going to take the leap. Because when you're taking the leap, when you're doing bungee jumping and so on, except you're a bird and have really developed your wings. So when they say do something, anything, some of us do that way, where we go to the cliff and we jump and we don't have a parachute and we're not a bird, we can't fly. There's a lot of landing that is going to happen. And at some point in our lives, we make that choice and we do it. And sometimes the only way to do things is to do it afraid. So it's like the example that is made popular by Tony Robbins that talks about toddling. You get up and you begin to walk. You fall all over the place. So sometimes the choices you make is to do it afraid, is to do it whichever way, is to claw your way out of the valley, whichever way that is, crawling, sitting, walking, just do it. So that's the second one. But what about the third one, which is do your very best? So you are prepared, you are armed, you're ready, you have a thought process, you are thinking through, you have planning. So, next week I will be sharing within the Visionary Introverted Women community. I'll be doing a session on goal setting, moving from goals to growth. And I'll be talking about, there was requests to redo my inside out goal setting process that I talk about. So I'm going to be doing that for the group. Once in a month, I'll be doing training within the group to be able to kind of help people to build their lives and build their business. So that is where the do your very best comes from. If you're going to take control of this year, it's not about whether the pandemic is going to go, because technically, let's say this, if you're not changing or making choices, COVID is actually making choices. It's adapting. It's got a new strain out. Within a year, it's actually evolved. It's just thought to itself, survival. I need to move from survival to next level. And so it's kind of just evolved and brought out a new strain. So what you got to do is to have your own plan of action. Whether or not somebody is telling you how to protect yourself, you have to make a decision. You have to say, I'm going to decide to look after myself and never have to experience what it feels like to have COVID, if you say that, for example. So any little opportunity you get, what are you going to do? The very best you can. If haven't done all, you stand. Then you stand, and just live by faith. But you're going to do your very best. It's more like, COVID, I've got you. I'm not going to let you touch me. And what am I going to do about that? That's your decision. That's a choice. That's the very best you can do that you're going to put in there. So all this, making a choice, doing your very best, is a factor of good decision-making, skills that you build, and personal effectiveness, which is one of the models that I use within my Visionary Female leader mastermind that I run, which I'll be opening on the 13th of January. So I'll talk about that later. So what are the factors that affect the choices that we make? Let me just share some of them. One of them is trust, and when I say trust, I know what comes to the mind. The picture is trusting others, but the truth is the first step when it comes to trust is trusting yourself. If you don't trust yourself, you won't make a decision. You will dilly down, you will sit on the fence because you don't trust yourself to follow through and to deliver, right? That is why. So trust is a factor to help you make choices, to help you make decisions. You got to trust yourself. Then you got to, if you are in a situation where others are involved, trust other people. It's very hard in life. Sometimes when you get hurt, you struggle to trust people because of the fact that you got hurt. But the only way to really live free is to learn to trust people, learn to trust people, learn to give them benefit of the doubt. Yeah. So trusting is important. My word for the year is trust. And it's very important to me. It's a growth sport for me. And that is why I'm using it as a word for the year. The second one is knowledge. If you're going to make choices and you don't have great knowledge, how are you going to make what is called an informed choice, an informed decision? So you get the knowledge that you need to make an informed decision. The other one is experience. Number 3, you need experience. Yeah. So Mubina, I'll let you know when the webinar is happening. You need experience. And sometimes experience is what we don't want. We don't want to take the time to gain the experience that we need to make the right decisions. For example, if you're a business owner trying to grow your business, are you going to grow your business in vacuum? Unfortunately not. You've got to gain the experience that takes you to that next CEO level. And if you live in denial about it and refuse to accept it, then you continue to go around in circles, finding shortcuts, not recognizing that you got to pay the price. So a toddler does not suddenly become a teenager. You got to go through your own growth process to get there. So choices are better with experience, And the truth is, when I talked about knowledge before, you gain knowledge, but applied knowledge then gives you experience. So it's not knowledge in vacuum, it's applied knowledge that then gives you experience to then use for the next phase. Then we have support. No man is an island. I found that out the hard way. You have your ego holding you back. The support actually helps you with decisions. You have somebody to bounce ideas off of. You have somebody to pull out. In coaching, somebody pulls out some innate beliefs that are underlying your choices, and that helps you make the right choice. That's what coaching does. So some people don't realize that. You have some underlying beliefs, you have some underlying things that make you not do what you want to do. So, and then you sit on the fence. But through coaching, through support, even if it's family support, I tend to, for example, talk through things with my husband to help me think through them, talk through them. So I tell him my thinking, and he is a different personality to me. He's totally different, very guarded, very calculative. I'm quite spontaneous, and so my decisions, my choices can go spontaneous before I claw it back. Having somebody like him around in a supportive situation means that I can go to him with all my airy-fairy ideas, and he'll be like, pour cold water on it. And then I would know. He will sometimes pour cold water on it in an extreme way, but I would know how to handle it. So the last one, I've been saying it all the time, is faith. When you have faith, you make the right choices as well. If you nurture yourself in faith, you make the right choices. So that then leads me to, once choices are made, you have to manage it. That leads me to the second path, which is the performance, right? You have to manage your choices. You have to take actions. And performance is a factor of who you are, not just what you do. People need to understand that. So performance is about owning it. You got to own it. You got to own it. You got to take responsibility to deliver it. And you got to take full responsibility. The moment you take half-hearted responsibility, things don't work. You got to take full responsibility. Take full responsibility for the knocks, for what you need to do to be able to achieve what you really want. And that's where performance then works. So think about it. The reason why I said performance is a lot about who you are as well, not just what you do. It's if you think about it, before you can birth something, you have to implant it first. You have to conceive it. And once you've conceived it, you have to develop it. Then you have to implant it, you have to develop it, then you conceive it. So that's how performance comes through when you realize your potential. Performance and potential go together, isn't it? Who you are. And I remember John Maxwell talking about, the fact that he can never be an opera singer. And it's not because he can't go and train, he can't go and practice, but he knows that's not his strength zone, and you wouldn't pay him to sing for you, but you would pay him for transformational leadership, right? So who you are is very important. What's your potential? What's your strength? What are the gaps? So that is what I want you to realize. And the truth about it is, when it comes to the example I've given, when you realize and recognize that you need to take full responsibility for developing that area of your life, that potential, what do? Some would learn and then do nothing. And some would learn and implement half-heartedly. The only way to do it, to achieve success, even in this year that looks so uncertain, is to play full out, is to learn and play full out, learn and experiment, learn and fail forward, learn and do it afraid. We are very afraid. Where will this pandemic lead? What will it create? And there are those who, despite their fear, are still using that fear. How do you use your fear to propel you? I've always said fear is a question. It's asking you, have you done everything you need to do so that you can succeed? Once you answer that question, fear seems to be like, oh well, I just got to pack my boot here because you're not going to listen to me. So when there is a lot of fear, ask yourself, what haven't I done to kind of bring to the fore? And sometimes fear is about excitement. You're really passionate. You want things to go well. So that's fine. So the other thing to remember is that when you learn and you then implement, you implement straight away, you take the lessons and you go through that loop, right? That's how performance gets improved. You need to go through that loop and that process. And I have a mentor, Joyce Meyer. She says that sometimes if you have not learned the lesson you need to learn and implement it, you go through the struggle, you go through the challenge again. So when you are in a challenge, really ask yourself, what do I need to learn to get to the next level? Otherwise, you will repeat class, right? You repeat life class. So you want to be able to gain that knowledge from the challenge. What is it bringing out of you? What is it showing as your gaps? What is it saying about the person that you are? I told you in the beginning about the kind of introvert that I was, restrained and anxious. If I was still that same kind of introvert now, I'm telling you that I'll be headed to the GP with medication, with lying down in bed with migraines. Those were the things that were in my life evident then. But I've shown you the way that I live if you come to my kitchen, it's everywhere, signs everywhere. My hallway, signs everywhere. Now, for another person, that might be like clutter. For me, I need those affirmations. I need those visual things to remind me. I need to wake up and listen to my language. I need to be intentional. So performance is a factor of recognizing the need for intentionality and taking full responsibility. And it's a choice you have to make. So the other thing I know, and I say this a lot, and I have a resource on my website called Overcoming Self-Sabotaging Behaviors. And the reason I wrote this from experience. So the gatekeeper to achieving high performance in life is actually self-sabotaging. you sabotage yourself even when you want to do something. It becomes a gatekeeper. It doesn't allow you to go forward until you address those things that are holding you back, limiting beliefs, behaviors, procrastination. Those self-sabotaging behaviors, whether they are hidden or not, they will cap your capability. And obviously, in the leadership terms, we call them the leadership lead. They create a lead in your life, and that lead is there. And each time you want to go up above it, you hit it, right? You hit it and you can't go. It's something that John Maxwell, my mentor in the John Maxwell team, where I'm an executive director, you know, as a member of the John Maxwell team, talks about the leadership lead a lot. You need to lead yourself. This series is about leading your life, right? You need to lead yourself, but you would have a leadership lead. So what are high performers great at? High performers are great at developing their performance level to the level of overcoming self-sabotaging behaviors, and they lead their life effectively. How do they do that? The first step is, I put out a post on Monday that talked about habits. They form daily repeatable habits. They put in the energy and the effort it takes to form those daily repeatable habits. You've got to put in the effort, but you will come up against your lead. You come up against your self-sabotaging. But once you've created the habits, they say you create your habits and your habits create you. That's what high performance do. So the second one is they follow through. They follow through with what they have decided to do. Like I told you, choice and performance go hand in hand. So they follow through, they make a choice, they follow through with it, they keep at it until they get it right. Mubina, I will share my website. I will share all the details at the end of this session. Thank you for wanting to know more. I'm glad you want to, you are gaining a lot of value from it. And thank you to those who have joined me so far. I would appreciate when you watch this, hashtag replay, make some comments, let me know your insights. I would love contributions to the conversation, because no man is an island. So you would have your own views, whether opposing or in agreement. Whatever value you gain, please feel free to share. And I will share the resources and links and things that you can connect with me further. So the next one is, the third one. This is the one I realized somebody said to me a couple of years ago. So I told you that in my 20s and 30s, I started becoming a thinking introvert, right? So I got a lot of things. One of the first books I read is a book I've given my son now to read. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It was the very first personal development book I read after I left home and I was now on my own. Before then, my father had bought a book called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. That helped me overcome and walk through and be aware of the anxious stroke restrained introvert. Moving on, I became a thinking one. So the competency, moving through the competency scale is one way that high performers are able to achieve, moving from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. In the middle, you would have conscious incompetence, and you have conscious competence, and then you have unconscious competence. So it's being determined and willing to move through that, where you are effortless and where you do things. Now, the truth about it is, if you're operating in your strength zone, it's easier to be able to achieve competence. So it's called the law of least effort. However, if there are gaps in your life, then you need to then achieve that unconscious unconscious competence through others. And how do you do that? Number 4, collaboration and supportive growth environment. That is how you are able to then achieve what you really, really want. So the truth about it is, in a collaborative, supportive environment, you are able to co-create and co-elevate. And that allows you to lift your leadership lead by co-elevating. Hi from Dubai, Elvis. Nice to have you. Hi, Joy, as well, Agada. So you're able to co-create with others to be able to achieve that competency level that you desire. And people who are high performance oriented. They take action. They talk the talk and they walk the walk. So basically, all this is a journey I've made. All these tools I have led me last year to set up what I call the visionary female leader mastermind. And it was very successful when I did it last year. And I focused on leadership. This year, I'm going to focus on leadership and business. So what does that mean? On the 13th of January, I'll be opening the doors for people to sign up. And we will be in an environment, like I said, a collaborative growth environment, an incubator of growth. So in this space, you will get mentoring, you get coaching, you get support, but you also get peer-to-peer support and peer-to-peer input so that you're able to co-create with others. And then together in this incubator of leading the lead, we're able to co-elevate to get to that next level. So this is what my mastermind is all about. It will be about personal development, business development, and leadership development. So I'll be asking you to DM because it's by application. It has to be, you need to work in a growth environment with like-minded people who are ready to get to that next level, who are ready to make choices in the right way, who are able to see themselves as heading towards being high performers. So that's what you want to do. And that's where you need to be. That's the environment you need to plant yourself in at the beginning of the year with decisions and be able to move forward. So I'm excited about it. I'm really excited because I know that I have a lot to give and I can pour out to people. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's by, like I said, it's by conversations. DM me for a chat. Is it for you? Is it not for you? And from the 13th, you have access to be able to look at the link, look at more information to find out. But you can have a chat with me, and you can place it's limited spaces actually, because like I said, co-create and co-elevate. It has to be in an environment that works for that purpose. So I want to thank you for joining me for the first, all exciting, all exciting, transformative inspiration to achieve episode of 2021. You know, despite challenges, despite, believe it or not, I was sick over Christmas, I'm able to come here today and deliver and do it and give and fulfill the promise, you know, that I made and wasn't able to. I gave it another go. So I want to encourage you that was 2020 really tough? If it was, give 2021 a chance. The truth is, we had lockdown in March and we are deja vuing again. But this time we're getting it in January. So it's kind of like, okay, assuming if worst case scenario, the whole year turns out to be like this, am I prepared for it? If you're not an issue, start preparing. Make your own plans. And then if something is trying to derail, it's derailing from a place of where you are going, as opposed to waiting for somebody to tell you where you're going. And so if you don't even know if you have derailed. And that's so important. I want to encourage you, use your power, your human power. Animals don't have this. Nature actually doesn't to a certain extent, but you can see how formidable nature is with what we're facing. So, you know, get on with this season. This is a season of darkness, of lowness, of turmoil for the world. But we are meant to create out of this challenge. Just like you have situations of labor where you have labor before birth, this might be the period and season for us to birth new things, new ways of thinking, new ways of living in the world. Who knows? But we need to keep supporting and encouraging each other. So I want to leave you with this message. And again, my trusted book that I always use, which is my Don't Sweat the Small Stuff book. It says, life as seen through the eyes of a calm person appears to be magical, a gift that is treasured each and every day. And it also says, worry keeps us from feeling free and joyful. We are never truly free until we break the chains of fear. A life without worry is a life of abundance, a life well lived. So worry, as my mentor Joyce Maxwell says, Joyce Meyer says, is like a rocking chair. And what happens with a rocking chair is in motion in a stagnant situation. You're never going to go. So it's easier for some of us, it's harder for others. Mental health issues are real, so I'm not trivializing it in any way. I'm just wanting to again wish you a happy new year and to say reach out, communicate, connect with those that can support you, that can help you to get through this difficult period. And thank you once again for everybody who has joined me. And I'm looking forward to being able to share with you about the mastermind, which is going to be a 6 month mastermind, which is for women who want to step up in their leadership level, their performance, their choice making, their decision making, their life and success goals, and create a pathway for themselves. So I will put in all the links. Thank you for being a part of this session, and get in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you. Whether or not you're joining anything, just connect and communicate. You know, the more the merrier. God bless you and have a lovely, lovely January and the rest of the week. Take care.